to how my modification to the continuous Harken main sheet system works. I've converted it from an 8-to-1/4-to-1, which I think you're all familiar with if you have a look at the system. It's got the twin cleats, and at the bottom, normally if you pull both sheets you get 4-to-1, and if you pull one you get 8-to-1. I've modified it because I found that 8-to-1 was not powerful enough, and 4-to-1 was great, but because it had 8-to-1 there was an enormous amount of main sheet left in the cockpit. The benefits, I'll first of all explain how it works. Essentially I've removed the crossover block that used to go through here. Got removed in a big jibe actually when it just got smashed. So that was fairly easy to remove, and it forced me to start to look into alternatives. And what I've come up with is a 4-to-1, and if we ignore this little bit here for a start, as you can see there are 4 falls. Do you want to just show me and step back? There are 4 falls, so that gives you your 4-to-1. And if you look down at the cleats, that white rope, that just controls your 4-to-1 and gives you a simple 4-to-1 adjustment. I've then got on one end of that 4-to-1, instead of it just running straight through the cleat, which if I did run it straight through the cleat, I'd end up with a 4-to-1/2-to-1. If you pulled both ropes you get 2-to-1, but that's not really much use to anyone. This system has added a 3-to-1 on the tail of the 4-to-1 system, and it fits really neatly into the Harken arrangement. So the way the 3-to-1 is reeved essentially starts off at the top with a becket. A block with a becket is connected to the tail of the 4-to-1 system. The fine tune, if you like, runs from that becket down to the top block, back up, down, and back to the cleat. Now what happens, can you just zoom out a bit? I'm sure it's probably looking very claustrophobic. So essentially when I'm using the main sheet, most of the time I'll just pull it into the 4-to-1 as hard as I can, then let go of that one, start pulling on the fine tune, and the 4-to-1 with a 3-to-1 on the tail, I then achieve a 12-to-1 system. There are a couple of traps. First one, you'll notice that I've got a knot in the rope, because the 3-to-1 does not want to go too far. If this block ends up block to block up here, we end up with a 3-to-1 system, which just is not nearly powerful enough. In addition, it can get jammed up in that opening. I do intend to put some sort of a block or a washer. Block becomes an ambiguous word. Some sort of a stopper which will stop this block from pulling into this block on the top here. I also intend to replace this 4-sheave arrangement with a 2-sheave arrangement. In particular, having one sheave on each side of the boom, because I want to maximise the amount of travel I can have on my whole system through the 12-to-1, and that is one limitation. I don't have an infinite amount of travel on the 12-to-1, which can be a problem. The most important point though is that these cleats on the 4-to-1 in particular cannot be released. Don't go too close, it just becomes too claustrophobic. These cleats cannot release. When this is under load, when you've pulled this on with 12-to-1 and the wind gets into the sails, the load on this 4-to-1 side is enormous, and there is no way you can release that. So these cleats do need to be replaced with the Spinlock PXRs, I think they're called, which are basically mini jammers. And that is next on my list of jobs to do.